What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV back here with another Tottenham update. We've got Ash Matic in the house, Spurs Kings TV. How we doing, bro?
Brother, I'm good. I'm blessed. Let's go for it, man. Let's get into the news.
Yeah, we're going to talk about everyone's favourite right back at the moment, Emerson Royale. Fabrizio Romano and Matti Moretto both saying that Emerson could leave Tottenham this summer. AC Milan will sign a new right back with Emerson high up on the list. Emerson is the one of the players expected to leave Tottenham. However, Gazzetta dello Sport claiming the Levy narrative. They're saying Tottenham are not desperate to sell Emerson. The club still believe in his qualities and are consequently asking for 30 million euros to sell the defender. Spurs want the fee that they originally paid to Barcelona if they are going to part with him. So two conflicting reports a little bit here. Well, they're not really conflicting, to be fair, but do you feel like Spurs will stick to their guns? They're not going to lower their fee. And do you think they're happy with keeping Emerson for next season?
Why? Why would they be happy if he's being dropped from the team? He's clearly being dropped. I know he's the right back and we're playing him out of position and we've tried him in different positions, but if you're dropping him, that tells me everything I need to know. What are we doing? He's no longer surplus to requirements in this particular system that Ange is deploying, having his fullback as a midfielder. Defensive wise, as a right back, not a left back, but on his favored side, he was doing a job, But yeah, I think if we're to push for titles, like the manager said that he wants to, then I think he was a part of our history, a part of the project even before Conte, because Conte didn't sign him. So this is new. Yeah, it was from Nuno. So I know it was a Paratici signing, but it was one of the first ones he made. And I think like you don't get every transfer right, and the system's changed from what he was brought in for originally to do. So maybe he suits AC Milan. Maybe they can improve him because he's not that old, to be fair to him. So
the thing is with the AC Milan thing, like I've heard rumors that Marcelo Gallardo, he's just been sacked from Al Ittihad in Saudi, and he's got strong links with AC Milan. I feel like if he was to take over the AC Milan job, they won't be interested in Emerson. He's a massively forward-thinking manager, attacking manager, and I feel like they'll probably look in a different direction to Emerson. But on the Gazzetta dello Sport one, in terms of Spurs are going to stick to their 30 million guns, do you feel that that's just a bit of posturing from Spurs and they will go lower if needs be?
Yeah, I think they're trying to get the best price. Well, I'm hoping they're trying to get the best price.
We got to hope. We got to hope.
And that's their technique to kind of like offload the player. They're not going to say, we want 20 million from him, and then they come in with 10 million. Do you know what I mean? I think they're going to try and start high and then try to meet somewhere in the middle, like 17.5 maybe. So that's how I feel.
I'll take anything at this point, to be fair. Let's move on. Let's talk about a number 9 that's playing in the under-21s that's absolutely having a smashing season called Will Lancashire. Middlesbrough and a number of championship clubs are keen on taking Will Lancashire on loan next season. There is also interest from some top-flight European sides over a potential permanent transfer for Will Lancashire. I don't know if you've seen any of the under-21s, but he's, seems to be getting a goal every game at the moment. And do you feel at 19 years of age, a loan to the championship, I think will be a really good move for him?
Yeah, I both of the options. Well, actually, the option into Europe, if it wasn't permanent, I'll be so on that. I like when players go abroad. There's no distractions. Do you know what I mean? You're away from your family, etc. You've got to buckle down. And it's all about football.
And grow up a bit as well.
Yeah, exactly. But I do like the championship because it's in a competitive league. It's fast, it's physical, it's rough. They don't. It's a man's game as well, because I think it's important. The men's game compared to the under-21s academy level, the step up is big, and we've seen it with Phillips and Devine at their clubs that they're at Plymouth at the moment. And so they're finding themselves. So they're trying to find their feet in that particular league. And so yeah, I'm for it, man. If the academy route's too easy and he's getting a goal a game, maybe he needs to challenge himself and get himself in the championship and see if he can step up, if he can make that next jump, because we've seen many strikers from that league go on to do great things in the Premier League. E.g. Bowen at West Ham, he was in the lower league, wasn't he? He stepped up into the Premiership.
Adam Wharton for Palace.
Yeah, exactly. Adam Wharton was a perfect example. Guy Carrez at Coventry, so many players I could mention there that were in the Championship that are making the actual jump and gone on to do great things in the Premiership. So yeah, I hope he gets that.
Yeah, I agree. And I think there's probably other players in the under-21s that can probably follow a similar route this summer. You look at Jamie Donnelly, who it seems to be a bit too easy for him as well. There's a big decision to be made on Iago Santiago. I mean, the guy's already 21 years of age. So does he come into the first team? Does he get a loan? Do we give him a contract? A lot of questions to be asked about a lot of these under-21 players going into this summer. In terms of incomings, a player called Koki Macheda, as a publication in Belgium, are saying that Tottenham are at the forefront to sign Koki Macheda. This season is expected to be his last at Royal Union St. Gilles. They want 15 million to sell him. He's a centre-back and wishes to play in the Premier League. He's a left-sided centre-back, left footer. And if you actually look at his FB ref, he is super strong in terms of when you compare him to other centre-backs all around Europe in terms of playing out the back, progressive ball play, on the ball, good in the air, high percentage of tackles. I mean, he does seem to tick every box, but there is always that caveat of he's coming from the Belgian league.
Yeah, I think there's a few players I looked at from the Belgium league, and they made a step over into the Premier League, and they haven't quite done it. One player was from Burnley. He came from the Belgium league. He was smashing it. He was in midfield, and he was getting like 30 plus goals in the Belgium league. And then he came over to Burnley and can't even get into the starting lineup. And I had high hopes for him. So, yeah, the Belgium league you have to take with a pinch of salt. Some players, you know, Belgium's a great nation. Let's not get it twisted. They've produced a lot of top talent. I do like Man City player Doku. He was obviously in other leagues before. He wasn't just in the Belgium league. He was in other leagues before he made the step up to Man City. But he started off there. Quite a few players start off in the Belgium league, but I like to see them progress in another league before, you know, earning their stripes over here. It's good that we are looking for data analytics or data led, but at the same time, I do believe in experience because your metrics can be falsified, in my opinion, in the smaller leagues because the opposition's not as good. It's as simple as that. So you're going to look better. You're going to win more aerial duels. You're on the floor. You're going to be a lot more quicker because the people are not pressing you as much. So with that being said, yeah, I'm glad that we're looking at all different alternatives, but at the same time, I need just a bit more reassurance and more experience going forward, in my opinion.
And when you're comparing him to maybe another player that we're linked with, we spoke about him when I was on your show, Riccardo Calafiori, who can play a combined left back, left centre back, amazing attributes. He's having a stunning season this year. They're talking about 25 million for him, which I think is a steal. So if you're talking about 25 million for him and 15 million from this geezer from the Belgian league, I mean, it's a no-brainer, isn't it?
Yeah, it's only 10 million difference, as I was just saying. So the difference between the two is like at 21 already, he's played in multiple leagues, different teams as well, different systems, different coaches, played in different positions as well. And so that for me goes a long way. Under 21's international as well. List goes on. So when you've got that wealth of experience, because sometimes you look at their age, but then you have to deep the actual experience level. How much have they achieved in that short space of time? Do they need to still grow? Are they mature enough to kind of step up to the next level? Because that's what I look at, maturity in the player. Is the player mature enough? And can they handle the pressure at the next step?
Moving on, we're going to talk about Conor Gallagher once again. The Footy Insider saying that Tottenham are in pole position to sign Gallagher this summer as he talks with Chelsea over a long-term contract, or the talks with Chelsea over a long-term contract have completely collapsed now. It's an interesting one because I'm hearing reports about Chelsea saying they actually don't need to sell this summer. That's what the news coming out of Chelsea is. They're saying we don't need to sell this summer in terms of PSR and all that kind of thing. But on the other hand, contract talks have completely collapsed with Conor Gallagher and Chelsea. So it's kind of two conflicting things coming out of Chelsea. In terms of Conor, do you want to see him in next season?
You know what's funny? I've gone full circle with him because I was totally against him. And I was trying to make everyone watch him closely because everyone was arguing at Palace as a 10. he was great. He was a good footballer,
Yeah.
etc., etc. And you see him at Chelsea play multiple roles. You see him play as a 6. You've seen him, or in a double pivot. You've seen him play as an 8, and then you see him play high up the pitch, more like a 10 at times. For me, technically, I like technical players. He's not the first player. He's not the first player that comes out my mouth. If I'm looking for a player that's technical, but if I'm looking at mentality, and I'm looking at engine, and I'm looking at a player that's going to want to work for the team, shows passion, fights back for the team when we lose the ball, things that like Ange wants in his system. He's looking for players that can play multiple positions. He kind of fits the glove. I'll be real. Like in terms of like shooting at times, or his first touch, a bit clumsy, a bit labored. Sometimes decision making, don't always agree with that, his decisions he makes on the ball. But we've seen it with Basuma now. Basuma is one of my favorite players. I think Basuma is technically better than Conor. And I think the difference is when we lose the ball, we need someone like a Sarr that's going to run back and fight for the ball and turn over the ball as quickly as possible and then give it back to our attacking players. And I feel like I'm categorizing Conor Gallagher with maybe a Pape Sarr as opposed to a technical midfielder, like, you know, a technical 6, if that makes sense, or a deep lying playmaker. He's not that type of player. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's very important that you profile players in the right positions and you judge them accordingly. Do you know what I mean? At the time, Sarr, when I was looking at Gallagher, I was like, well, Conor can't even get in the team because Sarr's outperforming him. Now Sarr's making his decision making isn't the greatest because he's losing the ball high up in the pitch, and we're losing quite a lot of those 1v1s, those second balls we're losing. And I think Conor Gallagher might steal the march on a Sarr. Like when Sarr's not performing, you bring a Gallagher in, he doesn't get injured, he's dependable, he's English in the dressing room. Do I think he's got, like, you know, the minerals to kind of, like, will his head drop? That's what I'm looking at. Like there's so many people that get onto our players for jogging back or not fighting. You know, you need to bust your gut to get back. And I think that's what I see with Conor Gallagher more. Do I think we can improve and find something better? Of course. Do you know what I mean? But I'm less and less mad of the thought of Conor Gallagher being in the side. I still prefer a Morgan Gibbs-White. But you could say both of them have had up and down seasons. They've both had, you know, moments where, like, wow, that was a great moment from Gallagher. Do you know what I mean? Or wow, that was a great moment from Morgan Gibbs-White. But I've seen games when they've been absolutely appalling or they've gone missing. And Chelsea fans will tell you that as well. They will say to you, look, not Gibbs-White, Conor Gallagher, he's not good enough. Do you know what I mean? And so I was scared of that. You know, do I want to bring up like a Oliver Skip Mark II? That's how I was looking at it, because Skip gives you energy.
I think his level's a bit higher than Skippy, though.
But you know what I'm trying to say, though? I
know what you're trying to say. I know what you're trying to say.
I was like, he's not the most technically gifted. And I feel like if you're playing possession football, you need technical players. That's all.
I think, like, for me, I kind of agree. I think what you're saying is, like, if he comes in, you don't want him for the 6, you don't want him for the 10. He doesn't have the right attributes of what we want to do there. But in the 8 is where he probably suits in the most for Spurs. And I'm looking at it, and I get what you're saying about Pape Sarr, but I think he's just going to keep improving and improving and improving season on season. I'm looking at Rodrigo Bentancur. Obviously, he's had a horrid season coming back from injury. We haven't seen him at his best yet. But if we can get Bentancur back to his best next season, I think he's a lot better than Conor Gallagher. That's what I think.
I agree. I just think because of the Basuma, I think it's the whole Basuma situation at the moment. I think that's where Conor Gallagher is slightly getting in. I know Conor Gallagher's not a 6, but at the same time, the way I look at it, I think Ange kind of wants a midfielder that can do it all. He can do a bit of a 6, he could do a bit of a box to box, and he can have some attacking attributes if he decides to play him there. Do you know what I mean? Because there was times when Maddison's been injured and we've needed someone to play a 10 for a bit. Do you know what I mean? And so when you pay him in a 10, hasn't looked right, or you put Bentancur in a 10, against Liverpool, wasn't quite looking right. Do you know what I mean? And then if Conor Gallagher recently has been playing higher up on that pitch, and he's kind of suited that role a bit more. And Basuma like it's been out of favor of late. So I'm just trying to look at it from that angle. Like I said, I still stick with it. I still think we can find someone technical that has those attributes that I've just spoken about. Am I mad at it? That's the difference. Before I was totally against it, but now I can start to see what people are saying about, energy bunny, battery in the pack, that type of stuff.
Let's be honest, Ashley. If we sign him this summer, we know we're all going to back it, and we all know we're going to get gassed when we signed him.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. You know what? It's mad. I hate flip flopping, but you know what? I have to be flexible with my thought, and I have to look at all angles, and so that's the reason why I'm back and forth, and I'm not sure. Like I've got question marks on him.
Last player that we're going to talk about is Vitor Roque of Barcelona. And this publication says that Barcelona have decided to sell him permanently this summer rather than allow him on an initial loan. The Spanish club are keen to raise funds and have informed Tottenham they want 45 million euros for his sale. This was a player that before he went to Barcelona, we did make a bid, and apparently a more competitive bid than Barcelona, but he did want to go to the flashing lights of the new camp. But he hasn't seen anywhere near the amount of game time that he wanted this season. And now it's kind of looks like that both parties want to move their separate ways. A striker, number 9, 19 years old. Will he get much game time? I'm not too sure. What's your thoughts on Vitor Roque?
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I'm not convinced, I'll be real. I've seen, you know what it is? At this level, you have to be so clinical. And the chances you get, you have to put away or at least put on target. And for me, the reason why he's being left out is because those moments, he's not having those moments at all. So, you miss one or two, you're forgiven, but with him, he's missed a host of chances. And we need someone like he's fast, don't get me wrong, but we've got a lot of that. We've got a lot of players that are quick, we've got players that are fast.
Clinical players, man.
Exactly. We need players that if it's an acute angle, a real tight angle, they can find that spot, that angle. They can use their strongest foot and angle their body. A bit like how Mickey van der Ven changed the shape of his body to get it onto his stronger foot. Yeah. We need a striker like that, or a striker that can make something out of nothing. Like he's got to beat a player and then he can finish. Do you know what I mean? That's what we're missing. So in the air, the aerial presence, I'm not too sure about. 1v1s again, he needs, if he's got too much time to think about it, he's one of those type of attackers, and he's 19. He needs a bit more experience, needs to be the main man, needs love, needs time. Mentality is something that is massive in Ange's book, and I believe for what we're looking for, we need players that even if it's not going our way or our backs are to the wall, which they normally are, we normally go a goal down first, that striker can't be rattled or they can't disappear in those big moments. So when you get the ball and you're playing the false nine, you've got to kind of hold it up for the team. They're able to deal with that and help us to progress up the pitch. In the final third, when they have that 1v1, they're able to be cool, calm, collective, composed, and put it in the back of the net. He doesn't suit those attributes, in my opinion, and it's a no for me.
I think we've been stung as well too many times from these signings from Barcelona. You got Emerson Royale all those years back. You had Giovanni Dos Santos as well. I mean, we've just been stung too many times. The last thing that I want to talk about today is about the game tonight, actually, and these Tottenham fans that have been selling their tickets to Arsenal fans for the game tonight. Matt Law from The Telegraph says that some season ticket holders of Tottenham have sold their tickets to Arsenal fans for the Man City game tonight. There is at least one group of Arsenal fans who plan to sit in the home end to cheer on Spurs. And they say that any Spurs fan who have sold a ticket to a rival is going to face punishment from the club. And the Mail are saying that anyone found attending the Spurs Man City game in support of Arsenal, as opposed to being a genuine Tottenham fan wanting to see their team take on Man City, will face ejection from the ground. It's going to be a weird case because you got Arsenal fans actually supporting Tottenham that are going to be ejected, then Tottenham fans actually not supporting Tottenham. They're going to be able to stay in the stadium. I mean, it's just such a weird case, isn't it?
I just can't believe. How are they going to know unless they're wearing an Arsenal shirt? like, and they won't do that until the end of the game. You know, they'll have their jacket
Yeah.
zipped up. Like that
Yeah.
happened to a fan the other day, didn't it? He was in the Tottenham end
At the North London Derby, yeah.
Yeah, it was at North London Derby, and he at the end he just and he showed it, and he was like, "Yeah, so they're about it's gonna happen," but I just don't. And you know what? The stewards we have, they're kids. I've seen them when I've been there. They're kind of young. Do they really have the heart to kind of like pull them up, you know, from their seat? I don't know, man. It's the thought's nice, but in real life. And anyway, I can see this happening. This is what I was going to say later on. I can see fans, Arsenal fans, right, that haven't been in the game, if the result goes their way, turning up at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and letting my fireworks in celebration. I can see that happening, bro. I'll be real.
Ash, I'm telling you, any Spurs fan that has been found to be selling tickets to Arsenal fans, they need to be banned for life. I want to see their tickets ripped up. I want to see them getting their memberships revoked, and I want to see them getting banned for life. This is not on. You can't be selling tickets to Spurs games when at any point in time, not even in this magnitude of a game, but any time, they need to be getting banned for life.
Yeah, that's blasphemous. That's just like, you're just selling it to the ops. I don't understand that. Like, why would you do that? That's just so detrimental to what we're trying to do, achieve. It's backwards. It's backwards thinking. Yeah. So yeah, I agree, man. They should be because there's so many people on the waiting list.
Yeah,
you know, that would love a ticket, and you're selling it to a rival. What are you doing?
Well, look, I'm about to make my way to the lane. It's going to be a weird atmosphere tonight. I mean, even if you look on the exchange now, I think there's about 5, 6, 7,000 tickets available. Anyone can get a ticket if they want, if you're a Spurs member. So if you're watching this and you fancy the late
from Arsenal fans, I'm getting phone calls from Arsenal fans right now. It's crazy. I'm not picking up.
It's going to be a night to forget whatever happens, because, you know, if we win, we're handing Arsenal the title and they're going to be very happy with us. If we lose, we get classified as Spursy once again. So it's a kind of a lose-lose situation.
Lose. That's what I thought as well. Lose-lose.
Yeah. So I'm dreading it. I've been dreading it all week. And look, I'm still going down to show my support, but we'll see what happens. But Ash, thank you so much for coming on today. Go catch him on the Pump Up, catch him on Spurs Kings TV. Go and subscribe to that channel. It will be pinned to the top in the description as well. But yeah, thank you, my brother, and we'll speak soon.
Bro, good luck, man. Good luck.